Today we are building viewer suggested engines. Yes, you guys submitted the engines and yes, I'm building it, so welcome. And as the name suggests, we are starting with the first comment. Comment goes as follows: how about as efficient as possible Cummins 24 valve engines compound turbo to have the biggest power band possible? And I said okay, no problem, so I'm just gonna run it on LNG and instead of LPG. The difference being the octane, and also I'm not too smart when it comes to that stuff, but as far as I know it's just the octane difference and also the rate of burn is the other difference. But before we get too deep into nerd business, this is going to be a little longer video, so as always, get yourself some coffee, sit down, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. The other thing I wanted to say, if you have a viewer suggested engine you would love to see make it into these viewer suggested engine videos, do let me know down below, and yeah, and I'll build it. Because I like seeing new engines and I like building new engines. That's, well, different than the normal amount of engine, but hey, that's just how it is. So as you can see here, we're already making some good power. We are at 1400 horsepower, Newton meters, and 924 horsepower. Which is quite a lot, considering that this engine is quite large in size. It's 6.7 liters or 6690 cc's if I remember correctly. This thing is gonna have a pretty low cam profile just due to the torque being the main focus, as well as the compression. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do for compression. I think I am gonna up it quite a bit eventually, but for now I think we're just gonna roll with this. So the first compound turbo engine we are building is this one. And so far compound turbo engines, they're a bit tricky. They can be a big pain in the butt, but as far as I am concerned, that's just a norm with compound turbos, at least in this game. I've not watched any of the fellow YouTubers who has built engines in automation in a while. So yeah, if you have a solution to my save problems here, do let me know down below. And also while you're down there, smash that like button if you like this type of content. And yeah, I really appreciate that. So to get fuel efficiency, we're gonna have to sacrifice quite a bit of torque, just due to how efficiency works and also how that whole situation works. It's a pretty complicated mess. I'm not educated to speak on this too much. So as far as I know, lean is mean and fat and rich as possible if you have turbo engines, especially if you want to keep it on the safe side, because detonation can crack pistons or worse, which that could be a problem, just a little bit. But we are making quite good power for this engine's purpose, and I'm pretty happy with the fuel efficiency so far. We're at 44.9%. I think we can get 45. I think if we up the compression a little bit. Again, that suffers that kills a little bit of torque, which I wasn't planning on having a 2 torquey engine here. I mean, still 1,700 as well. 1,700 newtons is quite a bit of a torque fest. We're at, well, now we're at 1635, but still, it's quite torquey. And to keep our power curve pretty happy, we're lowering the compressor size and the turbine size just a little bit to get a little more out of the engine. We're at 47% fuel efficiency, which that's awesome on a 6.7 liter engine, which I think this might make a pretty good sled engine, so to speak. We can test it in automation here. I see they added a test track, which that's new. Per se, if I've not really noticed the test track too much. I may have used it once or twice, but I heard they updated it quite good. So yeah, I might play with that in coming videos. I don't know. Anyways. Wow, okay, a little bit broken there, okay, no problem. The power curve is a little bit jittery, which that could mean problematic stuff for our engine. But slap it twice and call it, this ain't going anywhere, you're fine. That approach has always worked for me. Let's see, can I get a little more torque out of it and a little more fuel efficiency out of it? There's manifold. Okay, so the manifold's at 118%. That's a restriction, I believe. Now at 120, it's the amount of airflow that goes through it, as far as I understand it. So yeah, I mean 47.1%, I think we're not gonna get too much more out of it, just due to this engine probably not liking it to being this lean. So might just up the exhaust manifold size just a little bit. Make it a little smaller actually. Give us a little more torque. Well, that's new. I don't know that. Alright. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. We're gonna do 2 dyno runs, one looking at this beautiful engine and one looking at the graphs. So yeah, let's see what this thing sounds like. Hope it's good. Yeah, this thing sounds actually pretty good for a compound turbo engine, but yeah, this was good. Thank you for the viewer suggestion engine. Let's go on to the next one, which is gonna be something that's a little bit spicy. So we're gonna build a 3.5 liter engine that is the following comment. Let me just zoom up to where it is. Could you try a 3.4 liter turbocharged, twin charged inline 5 engine? I believe it'd be quite interesting. And I say yes, of course, let's build it. So yeah, twin charged engine, which this might be a little weird, but it's the first twin charged engine we've built on the channel. Of course we're running it on one of my favorite less potent fuels, which is the 85. Just for safety reasons, and detonation is gonna be a pain in the butt. If it happens on gasoline, it's a pain. If it happens on E85, you are messing up badly. Is the best way I could put it to you. So we're going to open the exhaust up quite large, because 3.4 liters needs a lot of air to move, so to speak. And also the supercharger is a little bit of a restrictor just due to what it is. It's attached to the side of the engine and it's being force fed by a turbocharger, which that could break some stuff per se. I don't know, but we'll see. I love the idea of twin charge. I think twin charge offers both best of both worlds, meaning instant torque as well as your later top end horsepower without heat being too much of an issue, because unfortunately superchargers suffer from heat. That's what kills most superchargers, that and people not servicing it well and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean a 4 point, well this thing is just past its own, the engine size or capacity by quite a long shot. We're at 6.8 liters of supercharger. That's humongous. That's bigger than some of the superchargers you can buy outright, as far as I know. Could be wrong, but yeah. See what I mean by how the torque curve slowly but surely goes up. Although it's jittery as hell right now, but that's just normal turbo stuff. But it's supposed to be a nice smooth graph. I think that would be beneficial if we can get that. Could not always be a possibility, but let's see. We're making good horsepower for what it is. 863 horsepower is pretty good so far. Upping the supercharger displacement again, or capacity in this case, up to about, let's leave it at 10.2 liters of displacement, which that's, you know, that's getting pretty aggressively up there, but you know, that's normal turbocharger, supercharger stuff. I'm not planning on making a crazy amount of horsepower with this thing, just due to the setup being still somewhat new to me. So I'll see how far we can get with it. I believe we can still make a boatload of power. It's very interesting how these engines behave under the different styles of aspiration in this case, or boosted application. Which that's, you know, that torque curve is way wonkier than I ever thought it would be, but That's just how it. I'm not too perfect at tuning this stuff, so we'll see how far I can go with it. They're still making some good horsepower, so it's somewhat helping. I still like how somewhat flat the power curve is, that's, you know, that's ideal. I just like to fix the jitteriness. And also a little more horsepower would be nice. Let's see where we can go with it. It's exploded, the turbocharger. Okay, so that's probably gonna be yeah, it's gonna be gearing. Alright. So a little more, a little less supercharger tune. Hopefully that would help. Okay, there we go, we fixed it. Oh, that's a giant drop. Holy cow, I did not realize it that bad. Okay, that's 16.6 liter supercharger. That's flippin' humongous. That's huge. Why is it not making good power though? Surprising. Okay, this is weird, but okay. Just trying to figure out why it's not making more horsepower per se. Maybe a smaller supercharger would help? It does help. Quite a lot actually. I thought being able to have more capacity on the supercharger side would help on the turbocharger side, being that it's forced induction and that more space or more air is always better flowing of air, so to speak, into the combustion chamber. I believe it's that's just how I thought about this. Let's see. Okay, this boost now is somewhat of a problem. Okay. Interesting. So that dip is not gonna go away. That giant dip right before we hit, well, what is known as peak torque. But yeah, let's see if we can. Okay, there we go. Now we're making some jam. Maybe more cam profile should help. Okay, stuff for spring lifters. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Let's see, well, let's see, 1170 horsepower is not bad so far. I do think we can get a little more out of it, just due to how it's set up. Let's see. A little less compression, a little more cam profile. Right, tinkering with the turbocharger here in a bit. Let's see. Maybe if we add a little bit of timing, that should help. Not a little bit, but not much. Let's see. This is surprising. See, I thought we could make a lot more horsepower. I just think I need a little more time fixing, or rather in this case, learning more about twin charge setups. Like the most famous one is the one out of the Strada, what's the thing's name? Lancia Stratos, I believe is the thing's name. I believe it's that thing's name. Anyway, that small little 2-liter engine that was both supercharged and turbocharged, which that's freaking nuts to me, but you know, my small brain can't comprehend all that crazy in one box. Come on, 1400 horsepower, there we go. See, now we're making some decent horsepower. I just think the spring and lifted tension is just going to be a problem for us from now on, especially if you're making huge amounts of horsepower. So we're gonna have to. Okay, so I'm just gonna continue making more horsepower until we run out of either spring and lifted tension or RPM, because we're currently out of RPM. So it's up at, I think, let's go full send. 11.6 would be good. Let's actually do 11.5. Then we can mess with the engine a little more. Because that's a whole boatload of boost traveling through that engine. Still can't make no difference. Okay, this helps us. Okay, this is interesting. Less cam profile, more power. Interesting. Which that's actually pretty surprising given that most engines respond very well with cam profile. Meaning the higher cam profile more into a sporty race cam profile. But yeah, look at that little engine. Looks good. With our giant supercharger on the one side, that's like triple our engine's displacement or something. But any whoosies, we're gonna do 2 dyno runs, one looking at this beautiful engine, one looking at the graph. Let's see what it sounds like. What a noise, that was a interesting noise. Thank you for the suggestion. Let's move on to the last engine of the video, which I said was going to be a pretty special one. 1.5 liters, supercharged, revving to the moon, yeah. Does sound like the comment I got, like the following. Any chances of building a supercharged high revving 1.5 liter V16? Which, you know, I said alright, no problem. Let's do it. So for fueling, I think we're gonna go a little bit insane. I think we're gonna do nitromethane. Because it's the first V16 with a supercharger that I've built. With nitromethane, a supercharger, a boatload of power. Let's see what we can get out of it. Look at that ginormous. Just imagine how much machining went into just making that supercharger. Like, I think that supercharger alone would take like $15,000 worth of billet in just one go. I think that's really how freaking expensive this stuff getting. But hey, in this game we don't have to worry about costs too much. But yeah, 600 horsepower so far, that's pretty good. I'm hoping for, I don't really have a guesstimation on this. I think 1.5 liters should get us at least 1,000 horsepower. That's what I'm thinking. Because it's responding very well to boost. Which that is not really that surprising, give or take that it is. Yeah, give or take, that's not really too surprising. It looks like we're gonna hit our yeah, so we just hit the plateau of horsepower versus heat, so to speak. Because we are generating quite a lot of heat. I don't think this game simulates heat soak, I don't believe it does. Because they have all the temperatures, but I don't think they simulate heat soak. That would be an interesting test. To see a extremely hot engine versus extremely cold engine. I wish this game had that capability. But yeah, getting too technical too quickly. Let's see. Can we get our horsepower number that we want? At least now we have our power a little more down low. Right before our supercharger said bye bye. Let's see. Okay, that does not help. Maybe we mess with the supercharger too, because this is the same problem we just ran into with the other engine. Yeah, it does help, so I mean that's good. Okay, that just killed a whole bunch of power. Why? These engines sometimes are difficult to tune. Let's just see. Okay, can we get our power back? I think. Yeah. Just leave it there. There we go. We got our horsepower back somewhat. Is the engine, well, supercharged not exploding anymore, so that's good. Just have to get the power curve just a little more under control, so I think lower compression should make a difference. Not terribly much, but I still think we can get 1000 horsepower out of this engine. Does it respond to cam profile? No, it does not respond to cam profile. That's weird. Generally, supercharged engines don't like too lopey of a cam. Or cams. You want a mild cam that can still operate under their own benefices. Let's just see if I can make this a little more usable, so to speak. Add a whole bunch of timing. Lower our fueling a little more. That does help. Lean is mean. Mean is lean. Switch supercharger. Does that help? No. There we go. More boost. Okay, there we go. So now we're getting up there in the horsepower. So let's just see if I add a little more. Okay, there we go. Spring lift tension does do well. You just don't want to go too far. There we go. We made 1000 horsepower. That's freaking awesome. So this is proof of concept. So maybe later on we can, with all these engines, I left somewhat of a lot of room on every engine stable, so to speak. So yeah, there should be quite more to come with this. So yeah, I'm just curious to see what this thing's gonna sound like, because this is gonna be crazy. So let's not wait any longer, let's go over to the dyno and let's do this. We're gonna do 2 dyno runs, look at that beautiful engine, one looking at this engine and one looking at the graph. So let's see what this V16 sounds like. Let's go. What a noise, thank goodness we have this beautiful supercharger update. But anyways guys, if you stayed to this part of the video, thank you first of all, and second of all, smash that like button, smash the subscribe button. But that's all from me for today, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you wonderful people in the next one. Bye bye.